people talk about foxing, they're talking about this shoe, the iconic Chuck Taylor All-Star. Foxing is this piece of rubber which surrounds the entire shoe, which is attached to the upper by a vulcanization process. We've got this toe bumper also attached by vulcanization, but this is the classic foxing. And when we speak of that, this is the shoe we're talking about. With it, this is the method of construction. Generally speaking, this is going to lead your shoe to have a higher rate of duty than it might otherwise have. In addition to foxing, we have to worry about something called a foxing-like band, which basically is something that looks and acts like a foxing, but is different in a number of respects. Probably the typical foxing-like band is this, looks like this. It's essentially a unit-molded bottom, which includes the sidewalls, and it's considered a foxing-like band if it overlaps the upper by 1/4 inch or more around at least 60% of the shoe circumference. Here, the overlap is all the way around, but how do we know whether the overlap is over 1/4 inch? What we will do is we'll get the manufacturer to send us a separate unit bottom and measure the circumference, or measure how much it overlaps. If it's more than 60%, we know that we have a foxing-like band. We don't have to cut the shoe. What we should do is get a separate unit mold bottom and make the measurements with that rather than cutting the shoe in 2 or 3 different places. Another shoe that doesn't have a foxing, but it does have the sole overlapping the upper at the front of the shoe. That's an issue with shoes which have textile uppers. If the outer sole overlaps the upper in the front or the back, then it could have the same high duty rate as a foxing, but the overlap must be at least 2.5 inches around the circumference of the shoe. We don't have that here. So this is a shoe that does not have a foxing-like band, even though it is clearly an athletic type shoe. The last shoe for this session is this one. It has a leather upper. We don't really care about that. We're looking at its construction, in particular its outsole. You can see that the outsole is flexible. I can tell you the shoe is lightweight. The outsole looks like it's something that could be on an athletic shoe. When we look at the upper, we see it's loose. There's no support for the shoe at all. There's no padding around the collar, so we would not treat this as an athletic shoe, even though that is highly flexible and lightweight.